Hi everybody, welcome back. We're backing in a 2019 Toyota Prius, 81,000-ish miles on the odometer, and it is here because the spare tire is installed in the left rear park. We're a little overbooked at the moment and the guys are behind, so I'm gonna help them out and toss this tire on real quick like for them. But I wanted to touch on something. This is gonna apply to everybody working in the field. I wanna see what you guys would do in this situation, especially the flat rate guys. And the reason I'm gonna do that is one tire on flat rate pays usually like 0.2 or 0.3 hours. That's to just take tire off the rim, put a new tire on, rebalance the new tire, install that back on in the vehicle, torque it, and then ship it. But what do we do in a situation like this? Do we get grumbly about it, or do we just bite the customer service bullet? See, if we look here, we've got all the stuff that goes in the trunk that covers up the spare, and it's just hanging out in the seat. I think the jack's floating around here somewhere too, maybe not. Find that tire. See, this is a little bit extra work. It's more work than what your 0.2 or your 0.3 is going to cover. So you're actually going to lose time on this job, and effectively that's a pay cut. But my question is how are you going to approach that situation? Because a lot of folks, they will spend more time being upset about it than they would just doing that little bit of extra work. And I know, because I used to be that guy once upon a time. Spinning. Because your flat rate pay scale really only pays you to change the tire. It doesn't pay you to put the spare back and put all the trim back and put the jacks back. So effectively, in the interest of customer service, you're working for a lower rate. So my question is do you think that's fair and acceptable, or is it unfair and you should charge more? But then if you charge more, is it fair to the customer? Or do you potentially even price yourself out of the job? Then you get a bad review and people think you're trying to rip them off because you want to charge them, you know, half of an hour labor just to do one tire, which is kind of unreasonable. You know, it's kind of a rock and a hard place situation. So my question is what do you guys do in a situation like that? Not contacting the rim, therefore no damage can occur. Not that this rim is pristine by any means, but you know, don't want to make it worse. Spinning. See, that's one of the major problems with flat rate is you often sacrifice your time and money in the interest of customer service. And the worst part is no one's really going to appreciate it because they think that that's just part of the job. You know, why wouldn't you put all my stuff back in the car? And why should I have to pay extra for you to put the stuff back? And I know that doesn't seem like much extra work, but if you're a semi-skilled tech and you know you're making, we'll call it $18 to $20 an hour flat rate, and you end up doing that, you know, 2, 3, 4 times a day, 5 times a week, the extra 1/10 or 2/10 of an hour that you missed out on can actually really add up. And if you're at a level where you're only making, you know, $600-700 bucks a week, and you're killing yourself for it, that can be a big deal over time. Or better yet, should the company pay the tech an extra 2/10 for that extra work, so the one tire would pay 4/10 as opposed to 2 or 3, so the tech gets his money and basically the company has to operate at a lower profit margin. You know, like I said, this is a very much a rock and a hard place type of situation, is who gets to float the burden for that. And you know, I want to say about 99% of the time, it's the guy who's actually getting dirty on the ground, doing the work, that has to suffer financially for a situation like that, because realistically you can't make a customer pay 4/10 or 5/10 to do one tire. You can't do that. That's ridiculous. In my opinion, I think that the company and the service writers should have that work order, pay a little bit extra, lower the profit margin, keep their employee happy, keep them motivated. Because like I said earlier, you know, you can have a guy who's going to sit around and complain and whine about that, and he's going to complain to other employees. This lowers morale, this slows down production, and it ultimately on the backside costs the company more money. It's unseen and it's unaccounted for, but through those small little avenues, it actually takes away from that company's culture. And it over what, $2, $3, $4.50 maybe, a couple tenths of an hour. And I think that's the issue with a lot of the companies, is they don't see it that way. They go, why should I have to suffer my profit margin because this job is harder to do? But that's not the point of flat rate. Yeah, on flat rate you get paid for the difficulty level, but that's one thing that management and a lot of companies don't want to address, and they don't want to float the bill for that. And I think they should, because it's not the tech's responsibility to suffer losses on a particular job when they're not in a position to suffer profit sharing on a particular job. I think it's kind of a one-way street, and that's a problem with the industry today. And you know, it's not just today. That problem has been plaguing the industry since the inception of flat rate. And in my estimation, a lot of it has to do with financially protecting the company, not so much providing pay opportunity for an employee. Now, once an employee can dial in flat rate and they get good at their job and they're efficient, they can make a boatload more money. But it often takes a decade of suffering through the eat it moments before you can reach a level of efficiency that becomes profitable. Where's my gun? Oh, it's over here. And you know, at the end of the day, it comes down to company culture and how much does management care for employees. I do believe that is starting to go away, considering there are less people entering the field and guys aren't lining up around the block for a job. And so employers are starting to realize that employee retention is much more important than an extra $3 worth of profit. Because why would you spend a year, 2 years training and grooming an employee to have them hate their job and quit over 2/10 of an hour, you know, a couple times a week or a couple times a day? And on the employee side, like I said, that stuff adds up. You know, if you take a 1/10 away from me a day, let's call it 2/10 a day. You can do that throughout the entire month. That's my phone bill. That's a half a tank of gas. Well, now it's maybe like a couple gallons of gas, 5 or so. But you get the point. You know, that little bit goes a long way for the little guy. But the top of the line guys, the big companies, the corporations, the dealerships, they don't feel that as much, in my opinion. And having owned businesses myself, I do understand that your profit and loss statement at the end of the month does come down to 1%. But like I said earlier, I think you can make up so much more than that 1% in the intrinsic value of having a happier set of employees and a higher level of morale within your shop. Because ultimately they're going to be more motivated. They're gonna look deeper for problems. They're going to put in a little bit extra work, and ultimately that's going to make the company more money, and it's going to breed a culture of happier customers, thus improving reputation, thus bringing in more revenue. I guess that's the concept of you have to spend money to make money. See, now I'm going to kind of add insult. Well, I'm not going to. But the situation is about to add insult to flat rate injury, because I find myself wandering around in the warehouse trying to find this particular tire. It's a Uniroyal, size 195, 65, 15-inch wheel, and I can't find that. I've been back here already for like 5 minutes, kind of wandering around. I've already checked the special order stack that's out front, but you know, 2/10 is 12 minutes. And if you hustle, you can take the tire off, put the new one on, balance it, put it on in 10 to 12 minutes. But that time is now expired, and I'm spending, well, I'm already 7 minutes into looking for the tire. And this is that culture thing that really, really upsets people. Because why is the sales guy not finding the tire? You know, he should be the guy pulling inventory. They're the guys that pull all the inventory when you order a part. They deliver it to the tech. They call and they order it, they get it here. So why don't we do it with stuff that's in stock? They have to make the guy who's actually doing the work. So the sales guy gets to collect his commission and just hang out in the office. But then the guy putting it on, who's already working half price, gets to do what he would consider to be the salesman's job for no extra money. And this is the type of thing that breeds a very, very upset technicians. And I can't find it. See, and this is where it gets bad, because then you go tell them you can't find it, and they go, oh, it's ordered. It should be here in X amount of time. So then the guy who just spent 20 minutes wandering the warehouse looking at every single unit on the shelf, he gets to get even more mad because the communication, or lack thereof, ended up being a waste of time for almost no reason at all. Well, for no reason at all. Now, granted, I've matured enough in my life and grown up enough to actually not get upset and angry about it. But even right now, I'm feeling it. Like I'm getting frustrated because I value my time greatly, and I feel it's being wasted. Here's a couple Uniroyals, but no, we're looking for a 195 6515. That's a 215 6516. Yeah. I think I'm on my 4th round in this warehouse, and I'm not seeing this tire. Do you guys see it? Have you seen it anywhere? Yeah, I got some Falcon tires here. Nope. Aha. There it is. 195 6515 Uniroyal Tiger Paw Touring AS. Numbers match. Okay. Oh, and it's not where it's supposed to be. It was out of order. Frustrating. And there's also an X factor to a situation like this. And here's how things can snowball and get out of control a little fast. Let's say our customer is waiting in the office for this. Now, in this particular situation, the customer's not waiting, but let's say they were. And when they came in, they stopped by because they got the call that the tire was done, and then they got the call, they came in, they checked in, and the first question they ask is, how long is it gonna take? And so, sales guy, whoever's working up at the desk, they're gonna say, oh, that's gonna take you, call it 20 minutes tops. Well, I've already spent 30. So now, after 20 minutes, actually after about 15, the customer goes back to the sales desk and they go, hey, is my car almost ready yet? The sales guy doesn't know because he hasn't been back here. He walks back here right about now and goes, how much longer? Which is upsetting for us on our end because we're back here with no information trying to figure out where the inventory is. And let's not forget, we also have to put all the stuff back in the trunk, put the spare tire back after checking the air. Loud noises. Then we put all the trim back, screw the spare down, put this one back on, torque stick it, then torque wrench it, then let it down, go park it, fill out your paperwork, because you gotta have your paperwork. And keep in mind, the tech's doing all that for 2/10. That's 12 minutes worth of pay. So based on all that, what do you think? Do you see a problem in the industry? because I have witnessed this problem and dealt with it and suffered through it for almost 20 years. And you can't complain about it because, like I said, the bosses don't want to hear that. And they're certainly not going to pay you more for it. So what do we do? How does this work? Like I said, it translates into bad company culture. Let's say I had something else to do, for example, like a mortgage paying, child feeding intake manifold gasket job or something. This is the worst possible situation for a tech to be in. Oh look, now I can't, oh there's the cone. Because I was taken away from something I would have considered a priority to do something else that actually removed efficiency from the program and ultimately would have set me back in time and money and peace of mind. And I know some would say, well, that's kind of not your job. That's the job of the low-skilled or the semi-skilled guys. But ultimately, if you work somewhere, you do what's asked of you. Clip on 2 and clip on 1. We want these ones, right? We're clip on weights here. Are we? Or is this sticky weights? That's sticky weight. So we're gonna do tape 2 and clip 1. What are we doing? I think this is set up for static balance. I don't want that. Stop, restart. Oh yeah, look, static. Static only selected. We want dynamic. Static is a single plane of weights. Dynamic is 2 planes of weight. 2 planes is better than 1 plane. Truck mode, no, what? See, this is how I know I'm old. I don't know how to operate this fancy touchscreen, computer laser operated wheel balancer. Okay. Follow directions, rotate knob. Yeah, knob is rotated, that's where it should be. Next. See, back in the day, you threw your arm up, you took your measurement with your little, it was like a pincer type device. You measured your wheel, read out, and you just dialed it in, 6 inches, 5.5, 7 inches, threw your hood down, and there you go. And I'm over here spending more time trying to figure out just how to set the balancer up. That's fancy technology. Wouldn't you know it, the arm runs into the wheel and doesn't even make an accurate measurement. Look at that. Hits it right there. That's gonna have to be good enough. Pull that old weight off. I left the sticky weights on the inside. There's a chance that those are gonna be okay. So I figured I'll leave them there. Okay, I do need to remove those inside sticky weights. Stop. Where are they? I see you. Score. Wobbly wheels. I always do the highest numeric value first. So we're going to skip this over to the 125. I'm out of spray. See, brake cleaner's like rum. It's always gone. And check spin. And the next weight we'll do a clip on the outside of the wheel. Okay, after that check spin, it went from asking from a 1/2 ounce right here to just 1/4 ounce. Zero, good to go. Rolling. There we go. Ah, there. Get on there, please. While we're here, and since I mentioned it, talking about torque sticks and torque wrenches, I will show you guys the absolute by the book perfect way to install a tire. And I know that seems trivial, but there actually is an industry standard specified way to do this. What we do, turn the gun down to the lowest setting, use a torque limiting stick. It's basically a linear spring that will absorb some of the impacts from the gun and does not transfer them to the wheel studs. Tighten down. Then lower the car, but don't put all the weight on the wheel. You just lower it till it touches to create some friction. Removing jack stand. Coming down. Then you follow up with an actual torque wrench to bring it up to spec. Once it's torqued to spec, then you can put the weight back on the wheel. The wheel is installed properly. Click. Hubcap goes on next. There's always a relief cut in it somewhere to accommodate the valve stem. If you don't line up that relief, it'll bend the valve stem if you have a rubber stem, and it'll cause it to leak later. Now we can let it down all the way. Properly installed wheel. Oh, but we're not done yet. The flat rate torment continues. 40 pounds. Yeah, look at that. It's at 15 pounds right now. 95%, probably more, of people, techs and tire techs and lube techs, do not check the spares on their way back in. And it's probably fine until the customer needs it again. Then it's not fine. Up, in, down, it's upside down. Let's try this again. Oh, forgot this thing too. And what makes it worse is, like, let's say I didn't notice this in the back seat and I just threw this together the way it is as you see it now. The customer is immediately going to notice that it's not in position, and then they're going to walk back into the office, and then they're going to be upset because you did a halfway job. So then service guys, the manager guys, they will bring the car and the ticket back to the tech, pull him off of what he was doing in the first place again, and then make him do it again. And that is why flat rate is just not fair. Sometimes. So in closing, I do want to get one thing straight though. This was not a triggered snowflake angry rant by any means. I'm an is what it is kind of person. I've already been through the muck of it all, and these situations don't affect me. But for the less seasoned type of folks, this can be a huge problem, and it'll ruin your day. You know, just this very situation we went through could absolutely ruin your day, because realistically, I'm in a job. I haven't checked the clock on the video yet. It's 10:41 now. I forget what it was when I started, but realistically, I'm 30 to 40 minutes into a job that pays 12 minutes, and like I said before, that is kind of a huge problem with regards to the flat rate system of paying for employees. And let's not forget about those X factors like tire pressure monitor warning lights. For example, we don't know if there's not another tire on this car that isn't low on air. We don't know if the TPMS has to be relearned, and if that's the case, that's going to cost even more time. That being said, I actually did overlook and did not check the pressures on those other tires, so I'm gonna go ahead and do that right now. I'll be right back. Okay, the other tires were good. A lot of these cars, they have to be driven at a speed over 25 miles per hour for 30 seconds in order for the TPMS system to relearn. Okay, so let's go for a ride real quick and watch that tire pressure warning indicator relearn itself. Once that is relearned, I can then return this car to the customer. Now, like I said, they are not waiting on this particular car, but had they been waiting, this would have been a moment of stress for everyone in the shop, because when the customer asked how long is it going to take, they would have been told 20 minutes. And now we are 50% over, maybe even 100% over that actual time. Yeah, there we go, lights off. It's got some other lights on, but not the one involving tire pressure. So let's swing this back around. We're done here. So again, this wasn't a triggered snowflake angry rant. That's just the way that it is, and that's why, you know, you can see guys in the shop that they're just not happy, and they've got a bad attitude, and it's situations like this one that could stack up and stack up and stack up, and it chips away at you over time. It wears you down, and you know, it makes you forget to have yourself a great day. And that's why I like to think that the day is yours and you own it, and you can have a great one or you can have a crappy one, because it's all about how you handle and digest a situation. You know, it's very easy to go into a snowflake angry triggered rage over a situation like this, because it, you know, frankly, this job cost me money, and you've heard me say that no good deed goes unpunished, and this is exactly that situation right here. I took on a job real quick like to help everyone else and to help the shop out, and ultimately at the end of that day it's going to cost me money because I'm not doing something that's profitable for me. You know, slinging tires all day is not going to pay my mortgage, that's for sure. But we can't always think about ourselves, and we can't always be selfish, because again, that breeds into a negative culture which snowballs downhill, and it ruins the whole shop culture. And if anybody's ever worked in a restaurant, you know what I'm talking about, because it's the same thing in the restaurant. You've always got that one person who's got something bad to say all day, every day, and it brings everyone else around them down. So having rambled on for 20 or 30 minutes or so, I will consider my angry snowflake triggered rant over with. And in doing so, I will thank you guys for watching this video. I hope you found this bit of insight to be interesting. And I hope you kind of gained some knowledge on, you know, sort of the bad side of actually working in this atmosphere. If you found this video interesting or did gain some insight, please feel free to communicate that to me effectively by tapping that thumbs up button down below. And please weigh in with some comments, because this should be an interesting thread today. So again, and as always, thank you guys for watching. And most importantly, don't forget to have a great day, because it's your day and your choice. You can have a great one, or you can have a crappy one. I'd go for option A. See you guys later.